welcome to the finale of the third season of the Itsy Bitsy Zoomcast. As our viewers know, this season has been dedicated to stories that impact early education and care. I'm Liz Charlene Tate. I'm with EEC's Strong Start Western Professional Development Center. I am the lead coach with the grant. I support directors and educators focusing on professional development.
Hi everyone, my name is Sheila Gould. I'm the Early Childhood Coordinator and an Associate Professor of Education at Holyoke Community College. This season, like always, my practicum students serve as guest hosts on the Itsy Bitsy Zoomcast. So I'd like to introduce you to two of my amazing students, Bree Santucci and Sarah Breen. Can you give a wave? I'm so glad you're both here on this special episode. So Senator Lesser, we're thrilled that you're here, but I have to say, every time we practice, I refer to you as Dr. Lesser because your dad was my doctor for like 20, 25 years. And so
sweet.
If you could just go ahead and get your doctorate so I don't make mistakes, that would be.
Yeah, well, I can make the joke.
Just a wonderful.
Nice low-key Jewish family. I think they still are hoping I'm going to be a doctor, but they had to settle for lawyer. So. But that's funny. I'll tell my dad you said hi.
Well, he was definitely, tell him I said hi. He was definitely a special part of my family's life for a really long time. And I got to run into him and you. You hosted an event pre-pandemic at the John Boyle O'Reilly Club. Yeah. And my daughter was Irish dancing. And I was just watching you with your constituents. You were so engaging and so personable. And as I've been watching things unfold about early education and care in your work world, I thought, Liz, he would be great to have on. So that's why we have you here. Can you give a little introduction to our viewers about yourself?
Yeah, well, it's really nice to see everyone. Hi, Bree. Hi, Sarah, Liz, Sheila. Nice to see you again or reconnect through Zoom. So I'll just be real quick, but my name's Eric Lesser. I'm a state senator for the 1st Hampden and Hampshire district. So it's actually a really cool district because I have 2 cities, Springfield and Chicopee. I have parts of both cities that I represent, and then 7 communities kind of up and down the Pioneer Valley. I've got some of the most rural parts of Massachusetts and some of the most urban. I have some of the highest income and some of the lowest income. We have Mass Mutual in my district. We have Westover Air Base. We also have farms and everything in between. So one thing that stitches everyone together is everybody needs childcare, and everybody is looking for childcare, and there are not enough spots, and we know that the sector is really under a lot of strain right now. So, it's really become an increasing focus of mine. And I'll say on a personal note, I've got 3 little kids, an 8-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 7-month-old. So for me and my wife, this is something that's personal too, in terms of balancing everything and just how important it is that kids have safe, enriching experiences in their earliest years.
Well, thank you.
We couldn't agree more.
For sure. It's really nice to have you here. So to jumpstart our conversation, we were feeling a little playful when we found this quote. It's from the character Leslie Knope from Parks and Recs.
One of my favorites, a classic. Yeah.
So we like to find quotes to weave into the conversations, and we found one that made us giggle, and it also felt so accurate to the experience of hardworking parents. There's nothing we can't do if we work hard, never sleep, and shirk all of the responsibilities in our lives.
I love that. Yeah.
So we're going to have Sarah start us off with the first question for you.
Well, first, Senator Lesser, thank you so much for being here. So tell us, what has it been like to navigate the early childhood world, having young children, and working full time during a pandemic?
Yeah, on a personal level, it's a lot. My childcare bill, my family's childcare bill is more than our mortgage. I don't think that's unusual for families where there's 2 parents working. But my situation, I'm lucky. My parents, Sheila knows my dad, but my mom and dad actually live around the corner from us. And we have very high demand jobs, both myself and my wife, but they're indoor jobs. We're in air conditioning, or we're in a suit and a tie for most of our day. So, and we do have the ability to be flexible if if we get a call that someone vomited or someone has a temperature and you have to kind of drop what you're doing, you can make that work. And I have a great team that helps facilitate that. So, it's a lot. Every day is definitely people kind of text me or they call me. They say, "Hey, like, what are you doing tomorrow?" I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow because there's a lot of moving pieces. But it's all a blessing. But one of the anchors for us has always been, dependable childcare. And I just want to give a shout out to the Springfield JCC that does a great job. I know that they're someone that you all work with. They're great. My sisters went there. My daughters, now my son, go there. But we've got to do a lot more around access, and the cost is a big stress for people. And even frankly, even higher income now, it's just becoming, you have to be very rich to not be stressing about childcare, and then think about what that means for families that are at the lower end of the income spectrum. So there's a lot we've got to do, but we've got really dedicated people. And I just got to say, I mean, I've got like a relatively high stress job with a lot of conflict and moving pieces. But when I walk into the infant room and drop my son off, I can't wait to get out of there because that seems like a lot. So we've also got to do a lot to really build up and support our early educators and our preschool workforce, because they've been through a lot through COVID. I mean, this has really not been easy, and they were underpaid and overworked and underappreciated before COVID. And I do think that we've got our work cut out, frankly, as a society, to make sure that we're supporting that workforce and the people in that workforce so that they can do their jobs for all of us.
Absolutely. And we couldn't agree more. You're speaking our language. You're speaking something we've lived for a long time. And the pandemic has really heightened some of that. As a parent of 3 kids myself, my youngest just finally entered the public school world, and we're done paying for childcare. But boy, I made the mistake of saying, what if I added up how much I've spent in the last 12 years? It was an ugly number.
Yeah, don't do that. It's not good for you.
I'm just going to tell you, when your son ages out, don't add that number up. It's not a fun activity. But you bring up some really amazing points. And with that in mind, Bree has a question about what keeps you motivated to keep having these conversations. So Bree, do you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Sure. So Senator Lesser, would you please share one of your experiences you had that helps you stay motivated to keep advocating for the field of early childhood education and care through your role as a senator?
Well, something actually that happened just recently, it was last week or the week before. Again, it all becomes a blur, maybe a few weeks ago. We had a roundtable at Elms College with Commissioner Sam, actually, who was out to speak to my Commission on the Future of Work that I co-chair with a colleague of mine, Josh Cutler from Eastern Mass. But we had Commissioner Sam out to speak to that commission, and we asked her, hey, can you stick around when you're done? You've taken the drive out, and while you're here, we'd like to kind of get some early ed providers in front of you. So we had a cross section of early ed providers. Square One was there, Head Start was there, Boys and Girls Clubs, and just a really broad cross section, actually. And one of the things that really struck me was the workforce and the people that are in this sector are really like the best of our society. I mean, they work with young children. They work sometimes with little kids, who can't really say thank you or pay them, obviously. And so it's really about the community. And I was just struck by, first, there are really serious and profound challenges that we've got to acknowledge. But everyone was so proactive and so positive about what the opportunities were and how we kind of turn a moment of a lot of pain and a lot of, and frankly, a lot of dislocation and turn it into a moment of opportunity and growth. It was pretty cool. I mean, I frankly wish all my meetings were like that. And so I kind of came away from it, really energized, because despite the fact that we were dealing with issues with retention, issues with pay, issues with prices, issues with access, I mean, deep issues, people were really proactive and were really offering and putting like real solutions on the table. So that was a neat experience, because fortunately in politics, you don't always get that. People often tend to identify all the things that are wrong, and you rarely often see people kind of pointing to the things that are right or the things that we need to do to make it right. So I just really appreciated the workforce. It was a cool experience actually having them all around the table.
I think that's something. Oh, go ahead, Liz. We both have the same thought, I bet.
I wonder, so just thinking about our mixed delivery system, we have family childcare providers, OST out of school time, center-based. It's a complex system. It's a group of people that are incredibly resourceful and resilient and filled with grit. And they are working really hard. And the thing that one of the messages they would want to give to a larger audience is that truly early childhood education is the backbone of workforce, of labor.
Absolutely.
If people don't have a place for their children to go, they can't get to work. But there's more than just the care element that happens in these settings. There's education. This is about children's brain development and their emotional well-being, and it's a huge undertaking. So it's so great to hear you speak about our field in the way that you do. These are people who deserve more respect and need to be seen and heard more. So thank you.
Yeah, and I think it's worth pointing out, I think it's important to acknowledge that sometimes the debate or the conversation veers to like, well, we need childcare so that people can get to work. Yes, we need childcare so that people can get to work the same way you need a bridge or a train to get to work. You need safe childcare. And actually, Senator Warren, a really close friend of mine, Elizabeth Warren, she speaks very eloquently about this and shares her own experience. But the other thing that we need to also be very clear about is it's important for the kid too, right? So, we know that exposure to reading, writing, we know exposure to the ABCs, we know exposure to early math at very early ages has immense positive outcomes for that child far into adulthood. So it's both. It's important for both reasons. It's important because it enables families to have some sanity, to have some stability, to get to work, to be productive. But it's also important for the kid, and it's important for that child's growth, and it's important for our public ed system because those 1, 2, 3-year-olds are going to be our kindergartners, our second graders, our third graders, our college graduates. They're going to be the people kind of leading society down the road. So, and we're a rich country. When we're a rich state, we have a lot of resources. If we get the policy right, we can do this. I mean, this isn't something that's beyond our reach. So,
I'm loving hearing your responses. One, because your reaction to our workforce, we are problem solvers, right? We are aware that we're responsible for 90% of brain development before children turn 5 years old. And that's a major responsibility. And that's not lost on the workforce that you engaged with. It's also really refreshing to hear you talk about children as autonomous humans, worthy and deserving of excellent experiences early in their life and opportunities for healthy social emotional engagement and play-based care and education. So that's just such an amazing thing to hear from you. And one of the things that I work really hard to teach the early ed students at HCC, and the practicum students in particular, is to really pay attention to political discourse and movement in relation to early education and care. And I'm tenured at the college now, but early in my career, boy, I was digging for articles about politicians who are having this conversation and who are advocating for our industry and trying to find ways for students to become advocates. But one silver lining of the pandemic has been this increased political support for children, families, and the workforce. So, before we wrap up, what's one thing you want our viewers to know about your work?
Well, I feel very strongly about early childhood, and I'm a big supporter of universal pre-K, universal early childhood. I mean, I actually think that it's really inevitable. It's going to be a question of whether we do it for all of us, or whether it happens down the line. It has to happen. Quite frankly, public K-12 education was viewed as some sort of